Buddha means a person who has attained enlightenment. Everyone has the same nature as the Buddha, or Buddha nature. Everyone has the potential to become a Buddha through spiritual practice.
Seiyu Kiriyama is the founder of the Agon Shu school of Buddhism. His 500,000 followers fondly call him Kancho Geika, which means His Holiness. Although profoundly rooted in ancient Buddhist insight and wisdom, Agon Buddhism is at the same time thoroughly contemporary. Agon Buddhism originated in Japan, but its vision and concerns are global. Kiriyama Kancho is now recognized as one of the leading religious figures in Asia.
Kiriyama Kancho felt that the original brilliance of Buddhism had been lost, that it no longer existed in present-day Japan. So he created a new sect of Buddhism to invigorate what he felt was a moribund tradition.
Randy Brown is an authority on Buddhist thought and spiritual practice.
Kiriyama Kancho has obviously been very successful. He's the living embodiment of Buddhist wisdom to hundreds of thousands of disciples. He's written, I believe, 48 books that sell millions of copies, and his community is very vigorous and continues to grow.
You cannot move forward in any field without hard work and training. This is also true of attaining Buddhahood.
Historically, there has been a long tradition of change and adaptation as Buddhism moved from country to country. Over the past 2,500 years, 3 major currents of Buddhist thought have emerged. Northern Buddhism, which came to Japan via China and Korea. Southern Buddhism, which spread to Sri Lanka and Southeastern Asia. And the esoteric school of Tibetan Buddhism.
The word Agon is the Japanese translation of the Sanskrit word Agama. The Agamas were the original teachings of the Buddha that made their way to China. Over the centuries, they were largely forgotten, and in a way, Kiriyama Kancho rediscovered them. Much of what he teaches is based on these texts.
Throughout the ages, this living tradition has kept Buddhism relevant to a wide range of people and cultures. Now, Agon Buddhism is bringing together the 3 major currents of Buddhist thought, responding to the needs of today's men and women, and helping them to prepare for the challenges of the 21st century. Agon Buddhism is one of Japan's newly emerging religions, founded by Kiriyama Kancho in 1978.
Unfortunately, when most Westerners hear the term New Japanese Religion, the first thing that comes to mind is the cult that released the poison gas into the Tokyo subway system in 1995. Now, of course, genuine new religions like Agon Buddhism have nothing to do with such terrorist activities. It's something like comparing Christianity to Jim Jones in Jonestown.
If Agon Buddhism is a new religion, is it also new Buddhism?
The answer to your question is that Agon Buddhism is not new Buddhism, but old Buddhism. Yes, my answer is that it's the oldest of the old, global and universal Buddhism.
As a new school of old Buddhism, what teachings and training are at the core of Agon Buddhism?
My own training is what I'm now teaching to my students. My training is composed of 3 elements: intensive ascetic practice, general spiritual discipline, and meditation. Taken together, those 3 will contribute greatly toward becoming Buddha-like.
ブッダになることができます。
Like many other Buddhist leaders and teachers in the past, Kiriyama Kancho underwent rigorous spiritual training. And like them, he found that wisdom and inner peace could only be achieved through facing suffering and undergoing personal trials.
私が20歳前に
Before I turned 20, I suffered from tuberculosis, and I almost died. That was very precious training for myself as a Buddhist. My teaching originated from the experience of facing death as a young person. I was a very healthy young man, expecting a lot of life. But all of a sudden, I was told I could die at any time. I was terrified by the fear of death.
ものにさらされた。
Soon, Kiriyama Kancho began to despair.
あと3年くらいで死ぬだろう。
The doctor told my mother I had no more than 3 years to live.
隠しておくことができなかった。
And mother could not keep that a secret from me.
そうして
I did not know what to do, and I tried to commit suicide,
自殺を
but I could not do it.
できなかった。
I suffered and suffered, and then, all of a sudden, I thought, I may die tomorrow. But if I am going to die, I will live a joyful life.